In the game of loans, you either win or you learn. Welcome to the game of loans, where fortunes are forged and empires are built. Your hosts, lords of lending and wholesaling, are here to guide you through the realm of real estate and wealth building. Brace yourselves, cash flow is coming. A lot of people ask me, well, how long does it take to, close a deal with you? If I get a client like you, a week, or less.
Yeah.
But some people just don't move. It's like, well, it took 45 days to close. Yeah, it's your fault. Not my fault. I could close. I like to tell people, I like to fund loans as fast as you want to fund. You want to do it, right? So I'm only as fast as the client.
That's
right.
True.
It's because it's not like it was 3 years ago where you can't get an appraisal back for 2 weeks because of the freaking refi booms, right? We're getting appraisals back now, normal speeds, 2, 3, 4 days, right? Maximum.
Yep.
Unless it's like some place in the boonies or it's some fucking type of property that's hard to appraise, and then maybe it takes us a week. But outside of that, how long is title taking? 4 days?
Yeah, 4 days, 5 days.
5 days maximum.
Yeah.
So, and those are the two most important things. We want to see the title, right? Just to see, everything okay. Chain of title. Do you own the property, or are you buying the property? The guy selling it, or is there anything abnormal over there? Any liens that we should be worried about, or violations? That's important. We want the appraisal back to make sure, is the property worth what we say it's worth, right? Because none of us know. You want to know too, as someone that's buying the house. You want to make sure that the house is going to appraise, right?
Yeah.
But outside of those things, which take in our business maximum maybe 5 to 6 days, everything else is on the client. Give me your bank statement, fill out your application, and let's get to work.
The funny thing you said that is because a lot of times I think it does fall back on the borrower, because borrower just needs to be honest. No BS.
Right? That's not, what do they say? Buyers are liars, right?
Yeah, buyers are liars.
Buyers
They're
are liars.
They're so worried about trying to get the loan done that they're trying to do whatever it takes, but that only makes it more complicated if things comes up certain way.
Always comes up.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I like that you say that, because what ends up happening is they only like to tell you what they think you want to know, and they don't fucking know what you want to know. I want to know everything, because I'm going to find out, right?
Right.
And with technology today, you find out one bing. I do a background check. I know everything.
Yeah.
So when I ask somebody, do you have a crime? No, I didn't. I never. Okay, then you run a background check. Like, dude, didn't I ask you this? Like, now you paid for the appraisal. We've gone all the way down. And here you are. You have a rap sheet.
I know.
Like, why wouldn't you just tell me and I could help you? We could talk about different ways. Like, you just wasted 10 days of everybody's time, right?
Bro, believe me, man. I get that, man. I always say, like, in real estate investing, like, the contractor, the GCs are the gatekeeper of the deals, but the lenders are the key holder.
Yeah.
They hold the key to get it done or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so, you really have to build a relationship with your lender, and especially letting them know if there's certain problems that comes up, because otherwise they are on your side. They want to get the deal done.
Yeah.
They fund the deal, they make money.
And the other thing is, I like to tell people, you want to go to a good lender that's going to underwrite the deal correctly, right?
Sure.
Because you no matter what it is, even as an investor myself, sometimes I'll get emotionally involved in it.
Yes.
Right? And I'll overlook certain things where the lender is not going to, right? And they're going to give you an honest analysis and tell you, hey, Kevin, man, like, I know you like this fucking deal, but it's not a good idea, all right? There are no comps. And then, Kevin, you're going to come back and say, but Steve, you don't know what's going to happen to this area in 18 months and this and that. Meanwhile, I got to keep you honest, right?
Yep.
I gotta keep the other people honest and say, hey, maybe that's 18 months from now, but today, man, this shit's not making sense. Are you sure you want to go through this? You're not gonna make any money, and and there's so many times that I have basically not funded the deal or advised and said, don't do the deal. And
Yep.
someone will take it, go somewhere else, and some schmuck's
Yep.
gonna give them the money, and then
Yep.
they'll come back and say, Steve, I wish I would have listened to you. I basically wasted 18 months. I'm lucky
Yep.
that I didn't lose my shirt,
Yep.
but
Yep.
I made nothing, and I ended up losing a little bit. But worst is I lost 18 months of my life, and
Right.
stress, you know?
That's true, man. A lot of people don't realize how much time and stress you put yourself into when you're doing these deals, you know? And there will be times where you won't close on a deal, and you just gotta get over it, dude.
Yeah,
It's just business at the end of the day. I mean, you just wanna make sure that you don't waste people's time, but you also gotta watch out for your own ass.
yeah,
Right, I recently just exited out of a deal at the very last minute because we found out that certain things on their plans weren't really shovel ready. If I really dive in and close on the deal, I would have been stuck in there and handcuffed myself. And why would I wanna do that when I can go do other deals out there, build other ADUs,
right,
you see? So, I mean, like, what you bring back to the point where you were saying is that don't be emotionally attached. That's also something that I educate people on when they're doing real estate investing. Dude, you're gonna be stuck in analysis paralysis and all this other crap if you really don't know your shit, right?
yeah.
So, understanding that and knowing that don't be emotionally attached is huge, dude. So I like that you said
So I like to tell my wife,
that.
okay? I say, you're only allowed to be emotionally attached to one property, and that's the
Uh,
house that you live in.
true.
And that's it. And
Yeah.
if you're living in there, and I like to tell the story. When we first went to see the house, I
Mhm.
was working. I was going to see my wife there,
Right.
and she was on the porch, and we have a swing on the front porch, and she was swinging away with a big smile.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, "Man, I am fucked." This is the house. This is it. There's no way she's already made memories.
Yeah.
And I let her, and I overpaid for the house at the time.
Sure. Yeah.
But it was okay because I knew it wasn't an investment of, where I'm looking to make money, right?
Yeah.
And that in the long run, I wasn't going to lose money. I was going to make money, because
That's the
land
beautiful
banking.
part of real estate, man.
Yeah. And that's okay in the primary, and,
Yeah.
and I tell people that you can, if you're looking to stay somewhere 7 to 10 years, even if you pay a little bit more or a little bit less, it doesn't really make a difference,
It doesn't
unless
make a difference.
because it's going to go up unless you're buying in the wrong place, and so I allowed that to happen. I paid a
Yeah.
little bit more than we should have, but
Right.
to make her happy, and you know what, it made sense, and here we are 4 or 5 years later, and the house is worth significantly more.
Right.
But I agree with you. When it comes to an investment property, right? And she gets crazy and she'll say, whatever it is, oh my God, this one, it looks like this. And I tell her, no, no, no. This is not a house we're living in. This is a house we're
Right.
going to fix and we're going to
Right.
flip, or we're going to fix and we're going to rent. You can't get emotionally involved in this. Well,
No.
how are the schools? That's not up to me. That's up to the renter. And obviously I care, but
Yeah.
it's not, my kids aren't going there, right? And
Yeah.
so it's a different game, and you can't be emotionally attached, and you can't be emotionally involved, or you're gonna just lose your shirt either way. And I like to say, someone asked me one time, and I don't know if you're the same way. They said, "What is the best real estate deal that you've done?" And I said, "The best real estate deal I've ever done is a deal that I actually didn't do. It's one that I walked away from."
Yeah.
And that's important to know. And more than likely, if you're in the real estate game for a long time, that's going to be
Yes.
your answer, right?
That's gonna be the answer, bro.
That's going to be the
And
answer.
if you're able to walk away from a deal that you can potentially make millions on,
Yeah.
I mean, that's gonna be at the beginning of being you'll be able to work more freely.
Mm-hmm.
And you won't overly think things, you won't stress on things. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, there's plenty of deals out there,
Yeah.
man. But until you can get through that phase, bro, man, it's gonna be a tough stretch for you.
And that's the thing. You said something. You said there are going to be other deals out there. And that is what a lot of people don't understand.
They don't.
You cannot jump at every fucking opportunity that comes your way. You do that, it doesn't work. And you can't be thirsty in real estate. I like to say that. If you're thirsty in real estate, you're going to lose your shirt, right?
Yep.
You've got to be, everything has to be numbers.
Yep.
And analysis. And if the numbers don't make sense, don't make the numbers make sense, right?
Yes.
It's like, dude, you're making 2 and 2, try to make it equal 5. But at the end of the fucking day, man, this shit's going to equal 4.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where I see a lot of real estate investors or potential real estate investors lose money. You've been listening to The Game of Loans, where real estate battles are fought and won. Make sure to fortify your defenses by subscribing. Cash flow is coming, and we'll be back next time to help you claim your throne. The war of wealth continues.